Hey guys, this is the big brown truck as I call it, which is a 2000 Ford F250 7.3 liter power stroke diesel. It has 332,981 miles. It's a Lariat. This seat is newly reupholstered. The rear seat's original. I got a bunch of stuff back there, but yeah. This is the overhead console. That's a gooseneck hitch. We have a gooseneck hitch on this truck. Been hauling scrap metal a lot, particularly water heaters and stuff like that. The scrap market's really high right now in my area. I think it's like $250 a ton. Last time I went, it was almost $250 a ton. And that's just for light iron. That's not even for heavy iron. So it's really high right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, I dented the side of this like 2 years ago. And unfortunately, when I dented it, like a nail or screw, I don't know what caused this, but it happened around the same time. I'm gonna pop the hood open. I dented the hood a little bit when I hit something. And that was when I was a very early driver though. But it is kind of dented. There's the engine. It's a 7.3 power stroke. There's the Ford stamp there. That's how you know these parts have never been replaced. There's another one right there. There's another Ford stamp right there, and then there's one right there. This alternator has been replaced. This tensioner is new. The tensioners are new. The water pump's new. The tensioner and water pumps were done like almost 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago. This radiator was done like a little under a year ago, like 8 months ago. Well, not a little under a year ago, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna start the truck up. I have to put my steering wheel lock here because that hood does not like to stay open for some reason. Don't know why. Closed. I'm gonna go for a ride. interstate. Alright guys, I'm about at the interstate. I'm recording in this position because it's more comfortable than I'm recording in the other position. Also, I forgot to mention this thing works. It says we're getting 15.9 miles a gallon, but we're probably getting a bit better mileage than that. Also, by the way, if the recording's not very good, I have to pay more attention to driving than recording, so it may not be that great, but yeah, just for safety reasons. Doesn't look like there's any traffic right here, so we should be good. Way better than anything they make nowadays. My grandfather bought this brand new in 1999. He now has a 2016 F250, but he gave this truck to my dad in late 2001. When he was going to trade it in for another vehicle, but he decided to give the truck to my dad because my dad needed a truck, so he gave this truck to my dad, and my dad had it for over 20 years, and then he gave it to me. My dad's actually had 2 other trucks since he's had this truck, because he got a 2012 F250 in 2012, but he decided to keep this truck mainly because I wanted him to keep it, but we all wanted to keep this truck for when I was a driver, so he didn't trade this truck in. He traded another car he had. But in 2017, he traded a car on a 2017 F250, but unfortunately that car got stolen, and as a result, something with the dealer, he actually had to sell his 2012 F250, which he didn't want to sell it. He was going to run it longer. It only had 80,000 miles on it, but he was going to keep it longer initially, and then he got a 2017 F250 that he traded that in 2022 with 150,000 miles on it. He had 150,000 miles that he had put on his 2017 F250, and he got it in late 2017 too. And from 2017 to late 2022, he put 150,000 miles on that truck. And now he has a 2022 F250 that already has like 70,000, almost 80,000 miles on it, I think. And this one has 332,000. It might actually turn over to 333,000 on this drive, coincidentally, because it's just about there. We're only 10 miles from 333,000. This is an excellent truck. There will be more videos of this truck upcoming. So yeah. Looks like we're behind a tow truck. Going about 70 miles an hour. Carvana. I guess they're shipping a car to someone. That's what That's what it says on that tow truck. They ship cars. I normally, typically, when traveling at these kind of speeds, get about 17, 18 miles a gallon, maybe more. I've gotten as much as 20 miles a gallon in this truck. One time I got 19.9 miles a gallon, which was just under 20 miles a gallon. I mean, it was almost 20. This truck gets really good fuel mileage, though. I've also taken this truck on really long road trips too, some in the excess of like 6 hours. I mean, not super long, but I've taken it on long road trips. And it's never let me down. It's been a great truck. Mileage went up a little bit, 16 miles a gallon. I think we're getting more than that, because usually when driving at like 60 to 65, I get like 19 miles a gallon. If I drive at that speed for a long time, and if I go up to like 75 or 80, it drops down to like 17 or 18. This is going to be kind of a long video, but it'll still be interesting. Some people walking on the side of, or biking on the side of the highway. Don't know that that's the smartest idea, but fixing to get on a street that's not a highway, but I'd never do that, though. I can say that. The sun's in my eyes. Make sure the visor is adjusted properly. Going 45 miles an hour. One thing I will say about the 7.3 is it's a very noisy engine. Like, this truck is way louder than modern trucks, but I kind of like that. I personally like louder diesel engines like this one. It's probably, to be honest though, gotta be like one of the noisiest diesels ever made. I mean, the 24 valve Cummins and the 12 valve Cummins were also pretty noisy, but not as noisy as the 7.3. But old diesels typically were noisy, though. That's one thing. They're not quiet like modern diesels. Pretty much all old diesels were noisy. Like, this truck has towed over 30,000 pounds on a gooseneck trailer too, and we've towed up to 20,000 on a bumper pull trailer. We've towed over 20,000 on a bumper pull, so this truck has towed some pretty heavy loads. I have towed with this truck before, and it tows decently. It has the and I know some people would disagree with me, but I personally prefer the 4R100 over the ZF6 transmission. A lot of people I know like the ZF6 transmission. I personally prefer the 4R100. Now, I've never had a 7.3 with the ZF6, but I prefer the 4R100 because I prefer automatic transmissions for one. In addition, we've never had problems with the 4R100. So, yeah, we've never had any issues with the 4R100, so that's another thing. And this truck has 332,000 miles on the original transmission, and this transmission's been through quite a bit. One thing I will say though is this truck has been pretty well maintained as far as oil changes and all that goes. I change the oil every 7,500 miles on this truck. Historically, throughout its life, it's always been changed every 5,000, but I change it every 7,500 because I do use this truck a lot, and it means I have less opportunities to change the oil. I love the sound of the 7.3 though. That's another thing. It's a great sounding engine. It's one of the reasons I've always loved this truck. My dad's literally had this truck since before I was born. Like, this truck's older than me. That's one thing I will also mention, is this truck is older than me. It's 25 years old and I'm 21 years old. So this truck is older than me. I started driving it regularly when I was 19 though. That's when but I didn't get my driver's license until I was 19 though. That's another thing. I got my driver's license kind of late. Going 60 miles an hour. Yep, 333,000. We just rolled to it. So, that's interesting. I'm almost getting to my destination though, so I'm probably going to stop the video in just a moment. And that'll be the end. But also changed this clock too, because recently the clock was wrong and I reset it to make sure it was correct. For some reason the clock sometimes resets a lot. I don't know why. I figured out how to change the clock in these old Ford trucks. There's like a button you have to press. This is a two-wheel drive truck, by the way, also. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this is a two-wheel drive truck. It's not four-wheel drive. But I don't care, really, because it's not that big of a deal to me. As I actually have driven this truck in the snow before, and it made it through 6 inches of snow without many issues. So yeah. And that was without snow tires, too. That was without snow tires, but we don't get much snow in the area I live in right now. However, in a few months, I'm moving to an area. I'm moving out west where the area I'm moving to gets tons of snow. Heck, it's like over 200 inches a year where I'm moving. So they get a lot of snow where I'm moving. But that's not for a few months. It's like close to 200 inches a year where I'm moving, but it's a lot of snow. It's like out in the mountains too, so it's high in altitude. So, but that's like a 21-hour drive from where I am right now. It's like a 20-hour drive. But I don't care. I like it up there better. That is it. Thank you for watching.